What's up guys, Shane here from Fugatech 3D Printing, and I did a little bit of shopping because I wanted to make my shop a little bit better. It's not going to be any review or anything, any of this. It's just kind of me talking about some of the things that I am doing here at my shop to better myself and tools and things that I use around. So let's start with some filament. I've been purchasing the Amazon filament recently, so I ordered their PETG, their PLA, and their wood filament. I reviewed all three of those, and they've actually turned out really good for me. So then I found recently, it's this one, actually about a few weeks ago, it took a little while to get to me, Amazon also has a TPU. So I have a roll of that in red here. And then, a little bit while later, I saw that they have a premium PLA now, and it's $25. Their regular is $20. So I bought a spool of that, and this one is in blue. So those will be future reviews coming up in the next few weeks or month or so. Now let's talk about this. So I know nothing about airbrushing except for what I've watched on like Punish Props. That's about it. So I talked to a bunch of the patrons and some guys on my Discord and was like, hey, I want to do this. What do I need? A lot of people recommended the Master Airbrush kit on Amazon. So it was, I guess what was it, 80? No, it was like $100 maybe, somewhere around there. So I decided to go ahead and take some Christmas money and some Patreon money and invest into this. So this is their ABD kit SP720. It's 3 airbrushes, the compressor, 6 paints, and some supplies are all in here. So we're gonna unbox this in a minute, but I went ahead and also got some accessories. So for mixing, I ordered a pack of these pelleters, plastic pelleters. This is 150. This was maybe like $7. I think it was an add-on item. Super cheap. Now this is just for loading. Just take a little bit out and put it into the cup for the airbrush. I know this comes with a few, but I figured if I'm ordering stuff, might as well get that as well. Right here I have, this is the cleaning kit, this little pot that you sit your airbrush in, and you can load in your cleaner, you can load in your other color, and you spray it in there, and it's a safe place to spray and clean out your airbrushes. Everyone said this was really essential, so I went and got one of these. What else do we have here? Oh, here I have some paints, we'll look at that in a minute. And then I have some very, very, very fine tipped brushes. This is not necessarily for the airbrushing, it's for a little bit more of the touch-up stuff. I wanted something that was going to work, and these are, I will say, quite a bit smaller than I was anticipating. They're also for like calligraphy type things you can do with this, and they have different lengths. So the actual brushes are all pretty much the same fine tip, but the actual length of the bristles varies between the different ones. So if it says here what they are, it does not. But either way, I wanted something to get some fine details if I want to paint something one color and then use a little bit of like red or white inside of it to highlight. I'm gonna get some acrylics to be able to do stuff like that. But the first thing was to get this to kind of get me on my way. So, and before we open up the airbrush, I want to talk about this box right here. We're gonna open this one up now. Now, this is from 713maker.com. Matthew White runs that site, and he does, I can't find my scissors, so bear with me here, and I don't know where my big knife is. He makes custom, I shouldn't say, I guess they are custom. They are milled aluminum parts for the Fugatech FT5. Now that was a point of contention for me about 2 years ago when he first started this, because I couldn't really see the necessity in those parts. Well, now that I am in an extremely humid and hot place, let's see, humidity is sitting at 51% right now, it's 81 degrees here in my office. It was gonna be kind of necessary to me to pick up something to alleviate the humidity on that machine, because the FT5 is melamine. And where I was last time, where I lived, it was perfectly fine. I had no issues with anything warping or anything because I was in a super dry environment. I was basically in the desert. So that wasn't a problem. Now, I'm a little worried that it will be. So I took steps, I should say, to start and aluminize the FT5. So I have aluminum corners on there now, and I went ahead and bought some of these parts from 713 Maker. Now I will say I have been saving up and purchasing these parts for the better part of the last year. So it's taken quite a while because these parts are not cheap at all. And this one alone, after shipping, was $62. I will say, Matthew, your shipping is amazing. Look at this box here. Look at this. And it's all for these parts right here. These are the Y arms for the printer. Now, these were delayed getting to me by almost a month, I would say. I was on the list and Matthew was able to get them to me, but these bearings are what was the delay. He had a problem, I think, with his shipment. Either they didn't come in or something came in wrong, but either way he couldn't fulfill the orders because of that, so he asked me to wait. I said, of course, and as soon as they came in, he shipped this out to me. I mean, this guy takes some pride in what he makes. His big thing is, in case you're unfamiliar with 713 Maker, is I believe he makes aluminum parts for the CNC Delta machines. That's kind of his first, I wouldn't say claim to fame, but that was his first money maker when he got into milling parts for 3D printers. He's expanding it more. Hopefully he will be more, but he is expanding it some more. Like, he had got a new machine last year, a new CNC, to be able to increase his productivity. I mean, homeboy does this out of his house, as far as I know. So it's pretty interesting. So here are the two new Y plates, and because these are custom made by him, the bearings that come with the FT5 don't really work, so he sends you a pair of high quality flanged bearings that you kind of pinch together, and that will hold your Y belts. So I have these, and this, again, this is the newest edition, but I'll show you these. I already have other parts. So this is the ultralight gantry for the machine, which was sent to me. I think all I did was pay shipping for this by a fan. Probably almost at least a year ago is when I bought these. So that was shipping for that, so it was like 15 bucks. Then I went ahead and bought, this is the X gantry set of aluminum pieces. I think this was like, what, $30 or $40 plus the shipping for this. And then I bought the bed plate. So this is milled aluminum out of like 6 mic, I think it is. Super duper straight. And again, I wanted to avoid the bed from warping. So it uses all the same mounting holes that the original melamine plate has. It's just cut out here to reduce the weight. And I haven't opened any of this yet. This will be a totally different project that I do, but I bought this. This was like 50 or 60 bucks. Again, this was 62 plus the shipping. Well, that was including shipping on this. So, I mean, I'm like 150 in at least deep on upgrades on the machine. That's not counting all the aluminum brackets I already put on there, and that's not counting the $300 enclosure that was sent to me to review and check out for that machine. That machine is like almost tripled in price now as originally $500 printer. So there's a lot going into that. It's looking fantastic, but we'll see how it ends up doing after all of this. I'm hoping this video will come out after Christmas, but I'm hoping during the Christmas break I will have some time to do stuff with the kids and do some bigger projects here in the shop. And with some of my time off, I would like to start working on this machine. So that's this. Now let's look at the airbrush kit. All right, I really want to see what's in this airbrush kit. So we'll start with the kit itself, since that was the main thing that I bought here. So like I said, it's this master airbrush kit. And what all do we have? We have an instruction manual. We have the how to airbrush. So they do boast this in there. They've got several different airbrushes in this. So we have a little stand here. This clips onto the compressor. I did see that. We've got some cleaning, not quite wire brush, but some cleaning brushes for them. We have some sample, I guess not sample, but a small box of paints. So it's a 6-color starter set. It's an opaque, and they are all just these little itty bitty bottles. I think there's also a, yeah, there's a cleaner. So there's the 6 colors, there's a cleaner, and then there is the airbrush, this is the reducer. So for some paints require reducer. I don't know if these paints do or not. Oh, ready to spray. Okay, so these do not require reducer, but some other paints do, or if these are a little bit too thick, I know you can use that reducer to make them a little bit thinner, a little bit easier to spray, depending on your applications. So, and then we have more parts here. So we have, let's do this one first. So this is an airbrush, and it comes in this really nice case. Look at that. I don't need that anymore. So this is the model G25, and this is a double action one from, again, I am no expert on airbrushing, but I have seen these are, you push down and you pull back. So one is how much air, one's how much paint or something like that. That is what I've read. I don't know the nozzle size on this. It might be in the paperwork is in the bottom of this, but either way, there is this, looks like an extra nozzle and a little wrench there. But it's this pretty nifty little foam cut case. Color me impressed for this little system. Now we've got a much bigger case here, and this is, and I actually don't know what this one is called, as it, what it does have here. So this is the model E91. This is a single action airbrush. So all you do is literally just push, and as hard as you push is how much paint comes out. But this one runs off of these wells. So you basically fill this up, and then the air pushes it through the jar, which then pushes up through the nozzle, through the little tube, which then goes in. So this is apparently for, like, if you're doing like a base coat or priming or covering a lot of space. This has a very broad nozzle, so you can actually, there's adjustments down here on how much air and how much paint actually come through and mix to output your paint. So again, this is for, if I was going to do like a base coat on some of the masks I plan on working on, I would use this to cover down a nice big base coat on it. It covers a lot more. Apparently it's easier to do that. There's some tubing here with it, some extra nozzle bits, and an extra lid cap. I think this might be for a different one. You're gonna have to read through everything to see how it all works, but just on everything that I've read and watching a lot of Punished prop videos. So there's those two. I think thought there was supposed to be a third one in here somewhere. Maybe there is down in the box. Oh yeah, here we go. So here on the side, we have the G22. So we have a 25 and a 22. And the difference is, this is also a double action airbrush, so push down and pull back for amount of paint and amount of air, I think. And the difference with this one is, it's a bigger well in the top, this cup. So basically the well in this one is a much smaller, I forget the actual ounce, it said somewhere in the paperwork how much it was. So these are actually, they feel pretty good. Having never held an airbrush before, they feel legit, put it that way. So we've got this one, right? And then here we have the braided airbrush hose. Then we have the actual little compressor here, all bagged up. It's got vibration feet on there. It's got a nice little handle. It has the air like filter, basically it's a moisture filter to ensure there's no moisture in the air that's going through. Everywhere I read, they say you're going to want to do about 20 psi is a normal amount. So this is the model TC20, 110, 120, 60 hertz. The liters per minute, 20 to 23 liters per minute. This runs, it holds a little bit in it apparently, but it runs most of the time. There's no tank or anything. There is an upgraded like tank version, but it's around like 40 or 50 bucks. And I was like, well, my first delve, I'm not gonna go like too crazy in this. I know a lot of professional airbrushers that I've talked to recently, they use like a 3-gallon airbrush tank. So that's like a lot more. And I don't have my airbrush here. So, or I shouldn't say I don't have my compressor anymore. I lost somewhere in the world. It is what it is. And this goes on here somehow. It very well could be in the manual that I'm not reading at the moment. Oh, there's a little thing there, little retention ring. And when you're not using your airbrush, you just dock it in there. That's a pretty nifty little setup. I was a little afraid that it was going to be kind of chintzy, but everything feels pretty good. Now for the accessories, well, I showed you the little dropper deals. I do have this. So this comes with another book of how to airbrush, which is the same that came in this other one. So Master does that in a lot of their kits and things that you buy. Then here is the well. So it is a glass jar, and there are some pieces that go on here. It did also come with those little filter brushes, these right here, make more with those. And then here is the actual stand part that clips onto it. And again, this is, you pretty much when you're not using your airbrush, you're supposed to keep it on this, and that way it will, I know that doesn't look right. Anyways, you put your airbrush in. Let's try it out real quick. See, let's grab this one. It just sits in there like that, I guess. And again, there's a little filter on here so that you're not getting any of the fumes out. And it does come with replacement filters. There's several of them here. And this is just a safe place to expel whatever is in your airbrush. It does make it so that the cup is parallel to the ground, yeah. So your cup lid is parallel to the ground, so it's easy to fill and kind of expel everything in there. I am like really excited to try this out. But everyone said this was like an absolute necessity to have. So that's why I picked one up. It should be fun. I cannot wait to airbrush some stuff. We'll do it tonight, but it's getting a little late. Don't know how loud this thing's gonna be. So lastly, let's check out the paint set that I bought. I bought kind of a middle of the road paint set just because, again, I did not want to spend a ton of money, but this set I think was at least $50. No airbrush paint is cheap that I've seen. So that's just the Instafoam there. It did come, this one cool thing, it did come with a color wheel, so a color mixing wheel, to make it easier to know. Another airbrush manual. Makes it a little bit easier to know how to mix your colors and, you know, get your desired colors. And here we go. So these are Wicked colors, which again, some of my professional friends said that this is a good starter set. And it has a, there's a reducer in here. We've got black, yellow, really dark green, blue. There also is a few, some of them are opaque and some of them are, like, some of these are not quite opaque, I don't think. But again, just a starter kit to kind of get my feet wet and play with mixing colors and just learning how to actually use the brushes, because that's like the biggest thing. Everyone says practice makes perfect. I plan on doing a lot of practicing. Now, I plan on doing all this here in my office. So I need to have a way to actually do that safely. Thankfully, airbrushes do not put out as much fumes, like explosive fumes, that an actual aerosol like a rattle can will put out. So I'm gonna go with something that Bob from I Like to Make Stuff made, and I'm gonna do a separate video on making this because I still have to get a couple parts together. But I'm gonna make my own collapsible paint booth right here for my office. It's going to have to use a filter. It's going to have using one of my, I just have some box fans here in the house. I'm going to use that on the back to help pull everything through. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a kind of like a splash board in front of the filter to make the filter last longer. I'm not too sure, and what I'm going to use for filter either. There's some laying around here I think I can get locally, but there's some on Amazon I was also looking at to get. Again, it's unclear on exactly what I'm going to end up going with, but I think this is a pretty good starting point, and I will be looking for lots of guidance. I will still be watching lots of videos here in the near future on how to mix properly, proper techniques to make sure you're putting out just the right amount of paint to do, you know, to get broad strokes, how to get real fine things. So I think this will add a layer to what I wanted to do here. So again, I kind of just wanted to show off what I bought and say thank you. Again, I did use Patreon money for this, so if you guys do want to help me buy things for the channel like this, you can become a patron. It only takes $1 to get access to the Patreon feed, and I normally do after shows of most videos. This one will not have one. I don't really have much to say except for thanks to all of those people who are my patrons. So thank you again. And that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed this little stuff I got in. There's a lot of great things coming. That FT5 build is going to be epic. So be sure to stay tuned for that, which you need to be subscribed to do that. Just hit the subscribe button, become a patron if you want. Again, help me buy things for the channel just like this stuff. You can use affiliate links down below. Then you save some money. Again, little slice of what you buy from those links comes to help me with the channel. So thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, happy printing.